Welcome to the Saturday Sports Line. Since 1969, the premier sports show about local high school sports, featuring coaches, players, and special guests. Now, here is your host of the Saturday Sports Line, Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI Sports Director, Mitch Kolbey, and sports analyst, Chris McGowan.
And that will be the end of the ball game. 61-0, the Culver Cavaliers triumph over the South Central Satellites of Union Mills here in round 2 of sectional football action.
And a good Saturday morning to you here on the Saturday Sports Line. Mitch Kolbey here with sports analyst Chris McGowan. We are so glad to be here. Boy, a lot has transpired in the last 15 hours. Let's get right to it. As our game of the week last week, the Culver Cavaliers beat the South Central Satellites in a shutout from a rematch of Week 2, 61-0. Of course, we'll talk with Mike Zehner a little bit later about that game, of course, as well as Buzz Schoff. The North Judson-San Pierre Blue Jays continue their postseason 25-6. Big win for them over Triton. We'll have a chance to talk with Brett Lambert a little bit later. They will go on to face Culver, who we saw last night, next Friday night. A big matchup for two of our area teams next Friday. The Knox Redskins, boy, they had a shutout performance last night here in Knox at Community Field against West Noble. 22-0 was the final on that game, Chris. I'm excited to see what head coach Russ Radtke has to say.
It's always exciting having Russ in the studio, that's for sure. You never know what's going to happen.
You never know what he's going to say, and we so look forward to what Coach Radtke will have to say later on this morning. And then South Central, we just talked about it. They end their season at 3-8. Tough loss last night in Culver, 61-0. Buzz Schoff will be here later in the second hour to talk about that. But we're talking about the West Central Trojans. Head coach Marc Hall took it to Taylor last night. His guys were on fire, 40-0, as they move on into the sectional championship game next week against Carroll. Let's go ahead and bring in head coach of the West Central Trojans, Marc Hall. Marc, good morning. How are you?
Good. How about yourselves?
I'm doing pretty good. 40-0 last night. Took care of business there in Francisville. All right. Tell us about how the game went down. Give us a Cliff Notes version, and did it play out the way you had expected, Coach?
I think for the most part, yes. We started off the game with the ball, and that's a little bit unusual this year because I think out of the 11 games we played so far, 9 of them we've started out on defense. So it was a little odd starting on offense, but we had a good drive going, but we just couldn't make some blocks and make some plays once we got inside their 30-yard line. So we turned over the ball there. Then our defense just played great all night. I think in total, we gave up 3 first downs, maybe 4 on the entire night. So wow. Defensively, we were playing really well. Offensively, we eventually got going there in the first quarter. Spencer Lehman scored our first touchdown on a jet sweep play, and that was from 22 yards out. And then Spencer also scored in the second quarter on another jet sweep, and we're up 16-0. And then we recover a kick. They went right through their hands, and we were right there to get on it. So we got the ball once again, and Buzz Beiswinger, we've been struggling a little bit on our 2-point conversions. So we started putting Buzz, who's our left guard, back in the backfield and letting him have a chance to run it. And we're bringing an extra lineman for him, and we've had success for that. So we gave him an opportunity from the 1-yard line, since we were, I think it was like 3rd or 4th and 1 from the 1. So want to make sure we got that in. So Buzz got an opportunity for that and took it in. So we're up 24-0 at that point. Then later in the second quarter, Connor Marlatt ran in from 32 yards out in one of our midline plays, and we added the 2-point conversion. So we're up 32-0 at halftime. And then third quarter, we lost focus a little bit, but defensively we're playing well still. Just offensively, we didn't finish things off. And then the fourth quarter, we added in the last one, and that was Austin Boland who scored that. And then we were up 40-0, and we were able to get everybody in. And have everyone get to experience playing in a sectional game. So that was good to see, and just overall we had really good effort from the guys, and we get to play another week.
So was that Buzz's first touchdown of his career?
Yes. Last week he had some 2-point conversions and had 2 last night as well. But yes, it was his first touchdown of his career. Afterwards he said, every time I touch the ball I score. And I said, you're still a lineman, so don't give me an idea.
I was waiting for that. I was wondering how the response was going to be from Buzz scoring his first touchdown. And like a typical lineman, hey, I can do this all the time, Coach. Yeah,
that's why I said it's a little bit different from 1 yard out instead of 60, 70, 80 like you usually have to go. But I told him he'd get too tired too quickly if he go the entire distance.
But that's great, though. It's to be that versatile, and he is a tremendous lineman for you guys, and has been productive now. It seems like for forever. He's one of those kids. When you talk about kids that seems like they've played at a certain school for many, many years, Buzz is one of those. Buzz is one of those kids that comes to mind. But again, you guys. You take care of business last night. You move ahead. You get to practice one more week at least. You guys got to make the trip to Carroll.
Yeah, that's
what do you know about Carroll, Flora?
We've been able to see a little film on Carroll throughout the year. We saw their week 1 game against Tri-County since we played Tri-County week 3, so we got that film in exchange. Then here at the end here, preparing for Taylor, there was also Carroll film that was exchanged there, and then we've talked with a couple other teams that have played them throughout the year and have gotten some things on them. So we have a lot of stuff to go over, and they're a good team. They got the same record as us. They're 10-1. They've only lost to Sheridan. They've done a nice job throughout the year, and they run the ball really well. They've got a fullback that he looks pretty physical, pretty good. So we're going to have to make sure we and try to contain him as much as possible.
Now they're a wing tee based offense, are they not?
Pretty much, yes. Yeah, so they do throw it a bit, but typically it's off of some play action, and there's a lot of counters and pullers and things like that. So we're going to make sure we're focused in this week and have a good week of practice. Try to limit some of the things they do.
What's the overall atmosphere of this team right now, Coach? How are your Trojans handling this big-time win heading into a sectional championship game?
I think they're handling it well. I mean, they're excited. One of the things we went over with them throughout the last couple of weeks is when we met last October at the end of last season, we had set goals, and so far we've met all of them. Every single one that we set for the season, we've met. And so I told him now it's just adding to it. Like, we can keep going farther, and it's as long as you guys want to go, we'll keep going. And then I also talked to him about as far as school history is concerned. Last night we became only the 5th team in school history to have double-digit wins.
Wow!
So that's huge for them. And right now we're sitting at 10-1. The school record for wins in the season is 11. So there's still things right there in front of us that we can do as far as like history is concerned for the school, because we've already done that several times throughout the year. We had beaten Winmac for the first time in 10. We won conference for the first time in 24. So there's a lot of those history things that we can still go out there and get. And so I think that the kids are excited about that, and we're going to have a good week of practice to make sure we're ready to go for Carroll.
So, yeah, both teams come in 10-1. You have 3 common opponents, and comparing scores, it looks like it's pretty tight. Having watched a little bit of film on Carroll, what do you think the key for you guys being successful next Friday? What do you think it's going to come down to, Coach?
Well, we're going to have to make sure we try to limit some of the things they do offensively. I don't think we're going to completely eliminate any of it. They're a good team at what they do. But that number 8, we're going to have to try to do our best to hopefully contain him a little bit. And then some of the counter things they do off of it, try to contain some of those things as well. But they've got a good offense. They do have sometimes they get the ball on the ground a little bit, so we're going to have to make sure we can take advantage of that and recover some of those instead of just them picking them up or and those types of things. So we're going to make sure we take advantage of the ball does get on the ground. And then offensively, we got to take care of the football. Last night we had a turnover. Week 1 of sectional, we had 2 turnovers, so we got to do a better job of taking care of the football ourselves. It's normal in any football game. If you can take care of the football and block and tackle, you're going to give yourself a good shot at winning. So those are going to be definitely some of the main keys is, control the things we can control. And some of those things would be taking care of the football and making sure we're blocking and tackling well. So I think overall, just the team, we do those things, we're going to at least give ourselves a good chance to come home with another win and get another week.
Well, Coach, we always appreciate talking with you, and congratulations on a big win last night. And heading into the sectional championship round, you've got to be proud of yourself, and good luck against Carroll next Friday. We hope to talk about a big win with you next Saturday.
Yeah, thank you. I'm just been all season just so proud for these guys that they get to experience all the things they're experiencing this year. It's good to see them on this side of things instead of the other side.
Hey, I couldn't agree more, Marc. Congratulations. I'm so happy for you and West Central. Good luck next Friday. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Have a good week.
All right, that's head coach of the West Central Trojans, Marc Hall, on the line. We so appreciate his time. We're going to take a break. Don't go anywhere. More to come. Head coach of the Culver Cavaliers, Mike Zehner, is next. You're listening to Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.
Let the sun beat down upon my face. Stars to fill my dreams.
Life is busy. At First Farmers Bank and Trust, we know that your time is valuable. That's why we offer mobile banking, online account opening, and mobile check deposit. So you can take care of your banking and get back to the people who matter most to you, while we take care of the people who matter most to us, our customers. Visit us online at ffbt.com to learn more. First Farmers Bank and Trust. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Collins Insurance Agency in Knox has done it again. They have earned the distinction of preferred agency partner from the Western Reserve Insurance Company.
Can't touch this.
So what does that mean for you? Collins Insurance Agency provides themselves of taking care of its community. That means providing the best insurance that keeps you and your family safe in a time of need. And with this honor, Collins Insurance Agency looks forward to providing Stark and surrounding counties the best customer service you and your family deserve. Collins Insurance Agency in Knox, living the golden rule by treating you like family.
Since 1936, Standard Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning have always taken pride in doing the job right. Third-generation owner Brian Hammond and his family have always set the standard when it comes to taking care of all your heating and cooling needs. Making your home a comfortable home is the absolute top priority. If you are uncomfortable in your home, give them a call at 574-936-4660. Follow them on Facebook. Let Standard Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning help you take control of your comfort. Here's more with area high school coaches as we return to the Saturday Sports Line from the Pulaski Memorial Hospital Studios on K99.3.
McEwen from shotgun takes the snap. He hands off the Brown up the middle. Who's going to break away? He's got a lot of room to the 10, the 5. Touchdown, Culver Cavaliers. Ian Brown, the senior. Big time run for the Cavaliers as they strike again, 54-0.
Welcome back to the Saturday Sports Line, the longest running high school sports show in Indiana. I am Mitch Kolbey. Along with me is sports analyst Chris McGowan. The tradition continues. We're talking the Culver Cavaliers. As you just heard that call, Ian Brown with a big-time touchdown. My voice cracked. I couldn't even get the call out. It was such an excitement, a lot of exciting action last night as we have head coach of the Culver Cavaliers, Mike Zehner, on the line. Let's go ahead and bring him in and talk about last night's big win. Good morning, Mike.
Hey, good morning, guys. How are you?
Not too bad. Okay, Coach, I got to ask it. Here's the first question of the morning. You actually kicked. You attempted to kick 2 extra points last night. The one was good, and the other one looked like it was just a little bit wide left, but it looked good. The question I have is, why haven't you been kicking all year?
I'll tell you what. It really seems like we work on that special team more than any other special team throughout the week. and it just the consistency doesn't seem like it's there, and for us to be consistent. So we did, I think we were 2 for 2 last week, and then we were 1 for 2 last night. So it just, there's a lot of pieces to that puzzle, right? The snap, the hold, the kick, and we just have not been consistent enough for me to feel like, hey, I think we're probably more valuable to go for 2. But as you get late in the tournament and this and that, this is something you may have to have. So to get a live look in a game, I think it's crucial for us going forward, though.
Well, mathematically speaking, kick an extra point, you got to be 100% accurate to get the full 7. If you go for 2 every time, hey, 50% chance, and you're still right there at getting 7 every time. So, mathematically speaking, you're better off going for 2. But who looks at that?
What was it, 3 years ago? I think we lost a sectional championship in North Judson by a point 2, and had we been able to just maybe kick PATs, we could have been maybe right there, a tie game or something to that effect. So, it's something you toy with. It's always in the back of your mind. And how many times do you watch Saturday and Sunday? A kicker miss a PAT field goal, whatever it might be, and
it comes back to bite them.
That work,
right? Okay.
And I guess the offensive side of things, we can't line up and get 3 yards. Then what are we doing? Right?
All right. So last night, South Central wins the toss. They defer to the second half. And, you guys take that kickoff. You get a nice, solid return, almost break it. And, so a couple plays later, Shane Shuman breaks one from about 39 yards out, and you guys are rolling. That was a great start offensively. But to me, I think I want to talk about the defensive side of things, because it seemed like you guys picked up on something in South Central's pass protection, or you thought you could take advantage of something, because it seemed like Ian Brown was in the backfield every single snap, creating havoc for South Central. Care to comment on that, Coach?
Yeah, honestly, I'm going to give credit to Coach Faust. He came to me early in the week, and just based on some of their sets and what they did, and it was actually an automatic call. It wasn't even something we called. It was an auto call where, based on some of their set, trips or tray set and backs away, felt like maybe they were weak there if we sent a guy off the edge and kind of lined him up as an outside linebacker, sent him off the edge, and they really didn't have an answer for that all night. And Ian really did come scot-free on all those trip sets like that. And, it was a nice night for him. I'm glad you guys played that highlight there, because he's a kid that works extremely hard. I mean, he's a kid that I talk about probably not enough, but he definitely does a nice job, and he's our military guy. But he's been a force at that inside linebacker spot, weak side, and he's done some awesome things for us. And then we had our backup running back go down with some stitches this week in the knee, and so we had to have Ian run, late in the game there instead of having Tony Summers, run. So he ran hard. He got a touchdown, so that was big for him. He did a nice job with that as well, because usually he's blocking and selling fakes and doing some different things when he's in there on the offense. But I can't say enough good things about Ian Brown. And I felt like we challenged those guys this week too, especially our D-line. We felt like the first time we played South Central, and Char got outside the pocket a lot and hurt us with his legs. And last night I felt like those guys up front really did a nice job, along with Ian Brown coming off the edge. Yeah, he did a good job of him in, not letting him get out in space, and using his athletic ability. Last night, being a defensive guy, I like, when I'm on the field, I like to stand behind the defense and watch everything. But just I had to point this out. Looking at your inside linebackers, you got Ian Brown, who, probably maybe 5'8", 160 pounds. Looking over at Shane Shuman, who's 6'2", 230 pounds. And just watching those two just direct everybody. And then they're looking at each other and pointing and making all the calls. It was really kind of cool to see, just the size differential. But I tell you what, though, there's no size differential in the heart of those two, that's for sure. No, Ian plays. I mean, there's not a guy that gives you more on every play than Ian, and Shane's the same way too. He does such a good job, and as I think somebody else asked me, what's the the best thing about Shane, he just goes so hard on every play. I mean, he's up there, and he'll tell you he's not the biggest, he's not the fastest, he's not the strongest out there, but in my mind, in my eyes, he doesn't take a play off, and that's huge because it seems like everybody does. If there's college coaches looking, they're going to see that he doesn't take a play off, offensively, defensively. Heck, he's even our kicker. He does an awesome job there. And I'll tell you what, looking at last night, I know you guys were there, but he went over 4,000 career rushing yards for us last night. He broke that earlier in the season, our rushing record, by going over 3,000 yards. So he added another 1,000 last night. So he's had a tremendous career, and and I know he'll say it. You're not going to do it without those guys up front, and I really thought those guys were the difference in the ball game last night. Was the line play, in the trenches, and Ben Lee, Devin Burkett, Stephen Pugh, and really I felt like one of our best players of the game last night. Just kind of going through everything in my mind was Braden Molbash, who really did a nice job. We usually plays like our 2 technique, and he did a nice job. We switched him defensive end. He's a little more athletic, and did a really good job getting pressure on the quarterback as well. And then he's our pulling guard. So he's done a nice job really fitting in that line spot, because he really was the backup to Shane at the halfback position, going into the season, and then had some guys, switch some guys around, switch the line up, and brings in a nice job. And then Travis Blankenship there at the left tackle spot as well.
Yeah, I thought, you mentioned Ben Lee. There was a play last night where Hanchard does kind of get out of the pocket, and Ben Lee showed his athleticism and was on his heels the entire length of the sprint out towards the sidelines. I tell you what, I was really impressed with, number one, the heart that he showed, and number two, just the overall athleticism. Because Ben's a pretty big kid, and for him to chase down a kid like Hanchar there was pretty impressive.
Yeah, no, Ben is. He's a freak in the weight room. I mean, he's a big kid, about 6'4", 6'5", and his wingspan must be like 7'2", I think. I mean, he's got some long arms, and he does. So we challenge him a little bit. I know Coach Klink put a lot on him this week in practice, and talking about not letting him get outside the pocket. So I think he heard about that on that play. That hey, what are we doing? Why let him get outside? Attack that outside shoulder, all that good stuff. But no, he's been a force for us on both sides of the line.
Hey, Coach, after seeing you guys on Wednesday in practice, you guys seem like you're in really good mental shape. I mean, everyone seems really happy, and like we talked, they pay attention to your coaches. The coaching staff is very well engaged. So are your kids. What's the overall feeling after last night's win? What was that locker room like last night?
They're excited. They're excited about getting back, and I think it's a different feel than what we've had in the past. And that's what I like. I said it earlier. I feel like ever since that Pioneer game, it's just a different mentality, and that's what we got to have. These kids take that next step. They got to have that confidence, and really felt like that came after that Pioneer game and how we play and how we prepare. And really, I felt like the practices, and nothing against North Newton and those guys yet. I just felt like the preparation the last couple of weeks. There's been so many times that we play down to our competition and don't really take it to them, and maybe that's my fault as a coach and how we my scheme, and hey, we're going to limit possessions, we're going to make sure we control the clock and do those. So there's a lot of times we don't blow teams out, and that's kind of changed a little bit this year. And I felt like there's times we just come out and we play down to our competition, or maybe we play up for our competition for a quarter or two, and we got to make sure we play at a high level all times in practice, in games. And I felt like that's changed here the last really since by the week before Pioneer. Our preparation that week for Pioneer was that's really changed this football team.
Yeah, and that was something that off air I was thinking to myself. You talk about the just the atmosphere. I noticed that last night. It was this was a different Culver team than what I've seen, in the fact that you want to talk about being a team, just unity. I mean, even the kids that weren't playing, that were on the sidelines, just how engaged they were to everything that was going on, and taking part of every good play and every big play, and just being vocal. Just the atmosphere. I noticed that just being on the sideline last night, and it just, when that happens, it's hard to describe as a coach, but it's one of the greatest feelings you could ever feel, really.
Yeah, no doubt. And I feel like this team gets along so well, and that's a big part of it too. Just the team chemistry and enjoying who you're around. I'm not sure, talking with some of these guys, I guess I didn't feel it that way last year, but I felt like some of those guys feel that way, that maybe they didn't get along as well as this group does. And definitely you can tell. I felt like going into the season, I'm not sure I had high expectations for this group, but not sure what everybody else did. And, the number of seniors we lost last year and this and that. And, I feel like these guys are exceeding, their expectations that they had set for themselves early. And I'm pretty excited for this group. Obviously, we got a tall task ahead of us in North Judson, and what Coach Lambert does over there is second to none. And they got an assistant coach playing tailback there in Allen, and I feel like he's been there forever. And it's fun to watch on film. Those guys are, and not fun to prepare for. And
I think they'd say the same thing about Shuman.
Yeah, I feel like those guys are. I was talking to Coach Lambert at the conference meeting, and just to see, how long those guys have been doing it, and those guys have been doing a nice job, obviously, since really their freshman year, both those kids, and should be good. It should be a fun game, and you can't just say Cheyenne because, Harper does an awesome job running that offense, and Benson, Frazier, and everybody else, but I feel like, we see it on film, but the physicality of what those guys do up front is second to none. And we watched the Laville game. That game could have went either way, and they were as physical as anybody else. And Laville is one of the most physical teams we played all year, along with North Judson. So I feel like their play has gotten a ton better since week one, and definitely starts up front. So should be a fun football game on Friday, though.
I tell you what, we're going to let you go and wish you the best of luck, but I'm just sitting here thinking, I can't remember the last time I've ever gone to a high school football game and there's going to be 7,000 yards, rushing yards between two kids combined. That's pretty impressive.
It is. Both those kids have had awesome careers, and now we're very excited, and you enjoy when this happens, and you respect the guys across the field from you on the sidelines, and Danny being over there as well. It's always fun to hang out with him. Heck, he went to the coaches clinic with me this year, so it's always a good time. And when you do it against guys you respect, and I talked about this on another show, like Harper and Frazier, and those guys are actually in our building trades program, and when you talk to Kyle Elliott, who's the instructor over there, he said, man, these guys are just great kids. So you get another respect, a level of respect when you get a guy like Kyle Elliott telling you that these are just awesome all-around kids, and they get along well. I know Stephen Pugh's in that class with them, so I'm sure there's some trash talk going back and forth, and they even have some Knox kids in there that play on the football team. So it really brings these the community together, even closer. So it's neat to see, and Coach Elliott does a great job with that program. And you don't know what I'm talking about, man. They build a house every year, and these are high-dollar houses,
right?
Very, very, very well. But he sets them up for success in life, and I feel like that's what we do as football coaches as well.
Well, Coach, we appreciate your time, and we look forward to talking to you next week. Taking on North Judson-San Pierre, that's no easy task, but you faced them in week one, so it'll be a rematch. You've seen them before. You know what you're looking for. We wish you luck, and we hope we talk about a win next Saturday.
Hey, we appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
All right, that's head coach Mike Zehner of the Culver Cavaliers on the line. We appreciate his time. We are going to take a break and come right back. North Judson-San Pierre Blue Jay head coach Brett Lambert's in the house to talk about last night's big win. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI from the Pulaski Memorial Hospital Studios.
Coke knows there's nothing better than the beat of the summer. The beat begins in a simple and mellow place. From low-key to hyped up. So we're helping you and your friends drink it all in with 100 days of the artist's experiences, tracks, and concerts with the best names in music, all at Coke Studio. Drink, scan, and enjoy your Coke so you never miss out on all the amazing offers we're dropping this summer.
Stay tuned for more sports talk with Mitch Kolbey on Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.
Ball on the 42-yard line.
First Farmers Bank and Trust. We've been serving family farms for over 130 years. We've seen our customers succeed in good times, pull through in tough times, and we've learned some lessons along the way. So we appreciate the customers we have today by finding the solutions they'll be looking for tomorrow. Are you ready to talk about your farm operation? Stop by a branch or visit us online at ffbt.com. First Farmers Bank and Trust. Equal Opportunity Lender. Member FDIC.
You're listening to Mitch Kolbey and Chris McGowan on Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.
Ball on the 42-yard line in satellite territory. Cadle takes the snap. It's Shane Shuman up the gut. He's going to get the first down and more. He gets it to the 20, now to the 15, 10, 5. He's gone. It's a Culver Cavalier touchdown. Shane Shuman, another one to add to the resume. 6-0 here in Culver.
Welcome back to the Saturday Sports Line, the longest-running high school sports show in Indiana. I am Mitch Kolbey. Along with me is sports analyst Chris McGowan. We're talking the North Judson-San Pierre Blue Jays as they roll right along in round 2 against Triton. 25-6 was the final. Of course, Chris McGowan was giving us updates throughout the game. Brett, we were keeping an eye on that North Judson game, that's for sure. We're glad you guys were able to pull out a win. Just first starters, tell us an overall consensus of what happened last night.
I mean, it was definitely different than the first game, which we expected. The first time we played them, it was a high-scoring game, and we scored 60 points or whatever it was, and they had 3-4 touchdowns themselves. But this one was just a different feel. That's a good football team. First of all, I mean Triton's a top 10 football team for sure. So you got to get that out of the way. Man, that's not some pushover team. But they came out and scored on their first drive. I think they went about 75 yards or so on the first drive, and took about 6 minutes off the clock. And again, I know that's what Coach Eunice wanted to do. He wanted to keep us off the field, and then obviously sustain some drives, which he did there. Then we got the ball right back, and 4 plays later, Aldrich goes 60 yards for a touchdown. Great. It was just an awesome. It was a triple option. He's of course, second option on that, and he took off and ran. And of course, the third option, if you pitch the ball, would have been Cheyenne. Well, Cheyenne just takes off and makes a key block on that play. He gets in front of Aldrich and blocked Shively, and then it sprung him for the touchdown. It was just an awesome run, just in the blocking. But then after that, it was just. It was just good football on both sides, but also just some inconsistency. We weren't able to finish some drives, and we had some opportunities. I know at the end of the first half, we were driving down the field and we got the ball, I don't know, maybe the 10 or 15, and then we had a false start, then we had a holding, so it pushed us back. So then we got behind the clock a little bit. So we go into halftime 6-6. Then Shu, who's their, he's their guy. They're running. Well, I better not say that. He's their running back. He's had a great year. He got hurt, right before halftime with his hamstring. The second. So then we get to the second half at 6-6, and we score on the opening drive of the second half. And really, the second half we controlled the second half, but we had a couple turnovers. We had a turnover inside the 5 where we were about to score, to make it a 2-score game. Then we get the ball back, and we fumbled the ball again in their territory, and just some things we don't normally do. But we end up getting it done, I guess, in the long run. But just for Triton, my goodness, that's a well-coached team, and we knew going in that they had a couple of guys in Shively at quarterback. Which Shively, as much attention as Shu gets, Shively is the harder one to prepare for. Our guys are physical, so it's not like we're not preparing for Shu, because we are. But our guys feel like they can hit Shu and be all right. But Shively is so elusive back there in the pocket, and but he'll run it right at you. He's not scared to do that. So I think Shively deserves a lot of credit for what he does. So So again, Triton came out ready to play. It's not like we didn't, but maybe just some things didn't go exactly how we thought. Triton mixed some things up defensively, which we knew they would. They came out in the front the first time they played us. That in hindsight, they probably thought they shouldn't have, and we were kind of glad they did, to be honest. But they didn't do that this time. So yeah, it was just a good playoff football game. They're a top 10 team, so are we, and we end up pulling it out in the end.
Yeah, I think one of the hardest things to do is, number one, beat a good team, but number two, beat them twice in the same season, especially after you beat them by 40 in the regular
62
season.
to 22.
They had 4 turnovers that game, but again, those kids, there's a lot of pride and tradition in that program over there, and you knew that they were going to come to Liberty Field and try to atone for that. So, for you guys to come out on top, 25-6, I was watching, I'm updating the scores or whatever.
He's down on the sideline.
6-6 at halftime. Wow. Okay, so things are going a little bit different over at Liberty Field tonight.
Yeah, but a few things. Just one, getting back to Triton. What I look for a lot of times, especially with 1A football, is how many seniors do they have? Not only how talented, how many seniors. They have 12 seniors. So those guys are going to fight for their lives.
Right.
And those guys are up front, too.
Exactly.
So that was something in my mind, like, hey, I know we're the better team. And not by a ton, but we were the better team. I think Coach Eunice would say that too. Maybe not. I don't know. But I feel like we're the better team. But they have 12 seniors. They got a talented junior quarterback, a talented junior running back. So this isn't going to be easy. And I think our players knew that, but I think they found out maybe a little bit more once we got into it. And again, I don't think at all they were overlooking them. But it was just, you knew it was going to be a tough battle. But then what I really appreciate is, we knew we were going to get the ball first for the second half. And just in the locker room, there was no panic. Just the conversations we had, you could, like, in their eyes, looking into, talking to Aldrich and Cheyenne and those guys, it was just conversation about, hey, this is what we're going to do. We're going to get back to just getting in our base plays. We're going to execute. And they knew that was going to happen. And it was like, they weren't like, hey, we're the number 3 team in the state, or number 4 or whatever, and then it's 6-6. What's going on? No, we're going to be fine. And then we came out and scored. Like I said, right away in the second half, and it didn't go as smooth as I would have wanted to in the second half, but we still pulled it out, and that was pretty awesome to see.
Defensively, who were you pleased with last night?
Quite a few guys. At first, they were moving the ball on us. That first drive they scored. Their second drive, they got about 3 first downs. Then we were able to make a couple of big plays to back them up. Even on their third drive, they made some nice ones. So they only had, I think, 190 yards for the game, but they probably had 150 of that on the first 3 drives, and then we really kind of dug in and got used to what they were doing. But Quentin Frazier again, double-digit tackles. Let's see, fumble recovery. CJ Sanchez again. CJ's a freshman, 6'3", 240 freshman. I know we're lifting weights Thursday after school because we do that on Thursdays before practice. He just missed 300 on the bench. And here's this long-armed freshman kid about getting 300. Our kids get stronger during the football season because we really make sure we lift weights. That's part of our practice plan. But he had a good game with 6 tackles, a sack, 2 forced fumbles. Logan Radtke, as usual, had a good game, 8 tackles, a sack, a lot of pressure. Josiah McDaniel, Gabe Ellis had some interceptions. Just the whole front line. There's guys like Jackson Boyd, who's a senior, who doesn't always come up in the stat sheet, but he just does what he's supposed to do, and that creates, tackle opportunities for Connor Benson and Quentin Frazier. Jacob Gepka played well. It just, you can go down the line, and these guys really stepped up. Trey McGowan did a good job. I can go through everybody.
Right.
Cheyenne, started defense. He normally doesn't, start defense for us, but Sam Holland he has an infection in his leg, so he's been out the last 2 weeks, and Cheyenne just did a really, really nice job. There's one play, and I'm not saying this turned it for us. That's probably an exaggeration, but we punted the ball to them. This was in the second quarter, and they'd already had, like I said, about 3 drives. They moved the ball a little bit. We punted the ball. The guy had a nice return. He goes towards their sideline. Cheyenne comes out of nowhere, just puts his shoulder right into him, picks him up off the ground. He hit him so dang hard he came off the ground and just, he got slammed in the ground. It wasn't like it was an intentional, dirty thing by Cheyenne, but he just hit him so hard he slammed him in the ground. And from that point on, it didn't seem like our defense gave up a whole lot. I mean, it just seemed like the mentality kind of changed with that hit. And the things Cheyenne does, we always talk about offense, but that was just a nice play there.
Well, you mentioned that, but the one game we did, I can't remember which one it was. It might have been Pioneer. Cheyenne's kicking off, and he's the first one down on the kickoff team. He's making the tackles on the kickoff team.
He did like 3 in a row.
Having him kick off has been great. I can't remember what game we put him in. He didn't kick off the first game or two. How many tackles he has on the kickoff team from the kicker position. Which you don't see that. Usually the kicker's like the safety guy or something.
I even said that on the radio. I said, usually the kicker's the safety guy. But I couldn't imagine having that conversation with Cheyenne going, oh, hey, by the way, you're the safety. You got to stay back here.
No, we're going to just send Cheyenne down and let Cheyenne do what he does. And, on offense, speaking of doing what he does, I mean, he had, let me look here, 16 carries, 129 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 receptions, 36 yards. He is just shy of 1,000 yards for the year. I think he's at about 3,700 yards for his career. Wow. He's got 30 touchdowns on the season now. Career, I don't even know what that is. Right. 70-something, 80, I don't even know what it is. I think he's got 300 receiving yards for the year. So, again, that's big. Brock Benson. Brock only had 40 yards rushing last night. Wasn't his biggest game there, but he went over 1,000. So we got, really right at 2 1,000-yard guys. Aldrich had 9 carries, 128 yards, and a touchdown. So Aldrich's about 600 yards rushing. So we got 2 guys who are going to have 1,000. We got another guy right now at 600. I mean, it's just I really like the balance we got offensively, and we got other guys who can run the ball too.
Right.
But I really like the fact that we don't just have that one guy that you can key on.
All right, real quick, you got a rematch with Culver Cavaliers. The one thing I do like about this sectional is the fact that it seems like every year it's North Judson and Culver, which guarantees us at least one. At least we're going to have one more week because an HNAC team or a local team is going to be playing for a regional championship next week, and it's either North Judson or Culver. So we are guaranteed that. That is the one guarantee I do like.
Thank you for that, by the way.
But to be successful,
we haven't done it yet.
Right.
Well, thank you to you and Culver. Thank you to you and Culver.
To be successful next week, what do you guys have to do?
I mean, Culver's really improved throughout the year. And that first game against us, it was a close game early on. I mean, that was not. We had to pull that out in the fourth quarter. So it's going to be a dogfight. Coach Zehner does an awesome job, and the staff. This is the 8th time in 4 years that we're going to play each other. We play each other regular season, sectional the last 4 years. 3rd time in a sectional championship. This is another stat throughout. This is the 5th year in a row that we've hosted a sectional championship. I don't know how that even works, but this is 5 years in a row we've done that. So 4 since I've been the head coach. But no, Zehner just does an awesome job. The guys they have, and it's not just Shuman, but Shuman and company, get it done. They play hard. This is a game we, as coaches, I know Coach Howard, defense coordinator, he's like, oh, God, we got to prepare for Culver again. And it's because, it's tough.
Right.
It's tough. And you got to have a physical brand, and you got to be ready for traps and all this stuff. It's a little stressful during the week, and they know us very well. We know them well. Again, there's a lot of respect between the coaches, and I really think there is between the players too. So just going to be a good old-fashioned football game. And what's nice about these games is, the hardware is going to get passed out. So if we don't want to see that hardware go on a bus and leave Liberty Field, we better show up on Friday night and take care of business.
Well, it sounds like it's going to be a fantastic game, a rematch of Week 1, Culver versus North Judson-San Pierre. We appreciate your time, Coach. Thanks so much for coming in.
All right, thank you, guys. Thanks for what you do.
Hey, thank you. Well, we're going to take a break and come right back. We've got head coach of the Knox Redskins, Russ Radtke. He will be coming up next here on the Saturday Sports Line. We are so glad you're joining us here from the Pulaski Memorial Studios. You're listening to Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKBI.
Since 1936, Standard Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning have always taken pride in doing the job right. Third-generation owner Brian Hammond and his family have always set the standard when it comes to taking care of all your heating and cooling needs. Making your home a comfortable home is the absolute top priority. If you are uncomfortable in your home, give them a call at 574-936-4660. Follow them on Facebook. Let Standard Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning help you take control of your comfort.
Collins Insurance Agency in Knox has done it again. They have earned the distinction of preferred agency partner from the Western Reserve Insurance Company.
Can't touch this.
So what does that mean for you? Collins Insurance Agency provides themselves of taking care of its community. That means providing the best insurance that keeps you and your family safe in a time of need. And with this honor, Collins Insurance Agency looks forward to providing Stark and surrounding counties the best customer service you and your family deserve. Collins Insurance Agency in Knox, living the golden rule by treating you like family.
Let's continue the conversation with area high school coaches and more on the Saturday Sports Line.
Cadle takes the snap, he hands off to Shane Shuman. No, it's over to Ethan Binion on the right side. They even faked me out. Another touchdown for the Cavaliers. Number 42, Ethan Binion, the sophomore. As they score again, it's 46-0 here in Culver.
Welcome back to the Pulaski Memorial Hospital Studios. I am Mitch Kolbey, along with sports analyst Chris McGowan. We're talking the Knox Redskins coming off a big win last night against West Noble here in Knox at Community Field. It was a shutout performance for the Redskins, 22-0 in Sectional 22 of IHSAA football. Well, Coach, let's talk about last night. You've got to be happy with your win as you're now going to be able to move forward into the sectional championship game.
Well, at this point, like you're saying, it's just important to get. Hey, I just thought of something, I want to clear this up for the fact that with this number of IRS new Democratic do we get paid for this?
Have you gotten your check yet?
No. So I won't have to claim it this year?
No.
What about the mileage? It's a long ways over here.
My dad always told me you always keep mileage. You
just
always keep
it.
mileage.
Just keep
and
it.
then you turn it into your advisor at the end of the year. You're supposed to,
that must be your sidekick, McCullen here. He'll get that straightened out for me, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Just like the IHSA. Yeah, well, it's in the mail. It's in the mail.
It's in the mail. It's on the way, Coach.
All right. But
just like your glasses.
Yeah. The defense came alive. You got to have things occur at the right time. And, we had about an opponent that had about a 1,500-yard rusher that last night that only got 77 yards. So our defense really did crack down. The dangerous thing that we need to get better at in this situation is that we were 2 for 5 in the red zone. I mean, at one point we should have been up 22-0, but you can always say you should have. But we had the ball down there on the 3-yard line, and we didn't knock it in twice. And so as a result of that, it took a little bit more effort that we eventually got that first touchdown there in the second quarter. And our defense turned the ball over for us. They got 3 fumble recoveries and an interception. And so, that's aggressiveness on their part and a great job by our defensive coaches and so forth to come up with schemes and so forth to shut down a very potent offense that they had up to this time. Remember, that team was 8-2 coming in, and had really had an attitude that they had been playing great football. So they really put the pressure on us, did some new things that we had to adjust to, and getting a shutout at this point is very exciting.
All right, let's flip that now. What did West Noble do defensively to slow down the offense, or was it more of your execution that slowed you guys down? Was it something they did defensively that you might not have been prepared for, or was it more just a lack of execution and being consistent on the offensive side of the ball for you guys?
Well, our execution has to be a habitual thing that's going to get done all the time. And they did a very good job. They put 12 guys in the box.
12?
Yeah, they had an official kill a couple plays for them. Okay. But they're definitely they were up there. They were right there at the line, and their secondary was coming up, and it took some adjustments to call some means of blocking a little bit different to pop those backs. Our backs, McGowan had 146, and Jake had 103, and Watson had 61, and Xavier had 37. So you put those four in their connections, they're going to have to do a little bit more blocking in that scheme to try to help out those situations. So, we're looking for the offensive line to keep getting stronger. We had another freshman that came in, Minix, that played some tight end last night, and we're getting more situations of formations that can help us out. So it definitely took a little scheming. And this is what you have to be able to do at this point. If you just think you're going to sit back and do anything you want all the time, that isn't going to take place right now. How can you adjust the opponent's defense, especially if you're seeing people that you haven't seen before?
Exactly.
Like North Jetson's going to play Culver again, okay? They played Triton already. So we're playing brand new opponents, completely never seen before, and they're not just going to sit there looking at film and do what you think you're going to get all the time, and how well you can adjust. And that's why you need assistant coaches. I even had to call the offensive line coach's wife today and tell her to come into practice because my offensive line coach was still in the shower, and I don't know what's going on there. So she said she'd be in to get it straightened out till he gets there.
Right.
But we definitely have a means of a lot of good guys that are doing great jobs.
All right. You advance. You have to make that trip to Balgo Township, Jimtown. Never a fun place to play. But again, they're coming in. I believe they are. They're 9-2, maybe. I think.
Yeah, they're 9-2. And they're playing great football, and they played in that conference that is up there. We're 12 or 13 when we were at New Prairie, and I have Halloween nightmares. I've had them already last night. I've showed up at Jimtown with a team, and I don't like to say but we showed up at Jimtown with a team that had only given up one touchdown all year.
Yeah,
that was in the national news, and 8 starters on defense were in the National Honor Society. We got beat because Mother Nature got involved.
Well, yeah, I was at home listening to that game, and I don't think I've ever cried so hard in my life when Judson lost that. But anyway.
Well, that was because you were a Blue Jay. You got to remember that.
Right.
Okay? It's not because it's you personally. But
what year was this?
Probably about 86.
86.
So probably about an 86 season or whatever. And
1980 was it 85?
Okay.
It was one of the two.
86 we went. 86 you went to state.
Because the next year we beat them at our place.
Right.
And that year they beat us up there.
Right.
And it's great football. I mean, Smash Mouth and whatever. It's a great atmosphere. They've got great football tradition, and even though there's the different coaches and so forth, you still have that gold helmet they put on and why they want to play football the way they do. And it's fantastic for them and how great they're playing. Great team offense, great deep defense, and have been taking it to. They had to play Glenn for the second time last time.
Right.
And so all these things add to their favor. We're just glad that we had these first two at home. And now we got to go on the road and play football like we anticipate we can, but it's not going to be an easy way, and it's going to be definitely a tough road to hoe.
What's the attitude of your players right now? They pretty excited about this sectional championship game coming up?
Well, maybe just a little too much until I get there, as soon as you guys quit talking and asking me questions, because they definitely feel about they're kids, they're teenagers. They got to get brought back to where what reality is. And they'll do that very quickly. And I think that you got to enjoy what you have for an atmosphere at that time. But then it's time to get back to the situation. But one of the coaches brought up last night, these seniors are probably the first Knox team that has been in the sectional championship for 3 out of the 4 years they've been here.
Right.
So they know what it's like. They know what it's going to be. They might not have always been up front, but I can see it in those seniors when they play the game and how they rule the nest, and they're not doing it by obnoxious demands or whatever. They tell a junior sophomore what they want, it'll get done, and I can see it in practice. And I really feel that people like Wackel and Manuel and Ronan, these guys that have come on that really bring on that attitude of how hard they have worked to get to this part of a football career, and they really make sure that they do it by example. And I mean, you hear that all the time.
Right.
Okay, so it's important, but to see it and to realistically realize that there's leadership out there and how well they want to get it done, I feel good about where we are right now, and I think everybody on this team is. Community-wise and so forth, on the knowledge of where football is, it's Stark County. Here we go.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Is Judson playing at home?
At home.
Yeah.
They get to play at home. We have to play on the road. But by gosh, again, you got two schools here that know what it's like and have a great opportunity to advance. Whether it's going to get done, anything can take place out there, and you got to be ready for it. And the weather reports I have so far, Mother Nature's not going to get involved in this one this time.
Well, a little too early to tell. We'll see. We hope it stays clear
Thursday
for you.
night looks clear already, so I don't know what can come in on Friday.
Yeah,
You're right.
let's keep it clean.
But,
though,
that night, the
nice
winds
day.
were blowing. I bet you it was 45, 50 mile an hour straight wind, or snow, rain, a whole shot.
I think
it just fell apart. And but that was to Jimtown's advantage too. They
Sure.
went home. They took it to us, and I remember to count one of their touchdowns on 4th down, the referee actually had to go out and drag his foot, and he says he was dragging it straight, and he brought it in and said that touchdown was good because there's no lines, there's nothing at all in this game, and
it was monsoon.
We tried a field goal that
you
would
couldn't
have
even
put us
see.
up, and when we tried a field goal, the wind blew it back down, and. The ball landed in the end zone, but that guy picked it up, ran it 99 yards for a touchdown. You can't. It was once the whistle's blown,
Yeah.
and it's dead. All our guys were walking off, and there goes a 99, 100-yard touchdown run. So these are all things that you got to coach for, be ready for. History's important in life, no matter whether it's football, athletics, or whatever. And we'll make sure that these kids are ready for the situations that occur.
Well, Coach, we look forward to talking to you next week and hearing about a big win. And good luck next week in Jimtown. Of course, the Jimmies in the sectional championship game. And you are right. Stark County football's got something special going on right now because both Stark County high schools are in a sectional championship game. And here in Knox, you've got to be proud about that yourself, Coach.
Yeah, which game you guys doing next week?
Well, we haven't decided yet.
Well, you just acted like you weren't coming, though, because you said we look forward to hearing about.
Well, because we haven't decided yet.
We
haven't even. I haven't decided yet, Coach.
I listened very well.
I said the same thing to Brett Lambert and Mike Zehner. So
okay, I'm going to go back and ask the coaches or somebody to see if you did. But
maybe I'll be looking for that check in the mail, huh, Coach?
Yeah. The whole process is, like our band is getting ready to go to a semi-state right now this morning, and they're getting ready to pull out and practice. They're out there working right now, so. Yeah, it's exciting. It's good to look forward to it, but we got to get back to the positive that you didn't get here by sitting back and letting other things happen. You are responsible for it. You will determine it, and the same thing for Jimtown. They're going to play that same type of football, and they'll have a home field advantage that we've got to try to counter.
Coach, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
All right. And my time's very expensive.
We know, Coach. It's time for you to get out of here and get to practice. We appreciate head coach Russ Radtke of the Knox Redskins. It's always a fun time here on the Saturday Sports Line with him. Hey, top of the hour's up next. News and weather coming your way. Don't go anywhere. This is the longest running high school sports show in Indiana. I am Mitch Kolbey. The tradition continues. This is Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.
From the Pulaski Memorial Hospital Studios, quality care closer to home. You're listening to WKVI FM 99.3. Knox, North Judson, Winnemac, playing the best of Vinyl Gold, a service of Kankakee Valley Broadcasting.
Fox News until NATO. The attack on Paul Pelosi, husband of Speaker Nancy Pelosi, getting condemned on both sides. President Biden had a speech in Philadelphia last night.
There's too much violence, political violence, too much hatred. Too much vitriol.
Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell tweeted that he was horrified about the news that an intruder attacked Paul Pelosi with a hammer. The Speaker's husband recovering from surgery for a head injury. As for the suspect,
Pappy had posted numerous anti-government and conspiracy theory screeds on the internet. He was also a local nudist activist who was seen at protests in San Francisco.
That's Evan Cernovsky of Fox TV affiliate KTVU. David DePapi's facing charges of attempted murder, elder abuse, and more. America's listening to Fox News.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. You're driving along and some nimrod cuts you off. You hit the horn. Jeez, it sounds like a goose in distress. Time to head over to eBay Motors. They have horns for every make and model, not to mention horn pads, steering wheels, wiring, and more. 122 million parts. You can even go for an upgrade. That looks like Mr. Cutoff Man needs a new seat cover. Try eBay Motors, pal. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
From the K99.3 Weather Center, here's your forecast. It'll be mostly sunny today. 64 will be your high. Tonight, cloudy and 43. For Sunday, cloudy, scattered showers, high of 61. Only a 40% chance of rain. Sunday night, cloudy, scattered showers again, low of 49, 50% chance. And your outlook for Monday, cloudy, more rain, and a high of 59. That's your weather forecast from the station that brings you Vinyl Gold, the best music of the 60s and 70s, WKVI. From the WKVI Weather Studio, it's 39.
It's time now for Hour 2 of the Saturday Sports Line with your host, Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI Sports Director, Mitch Kolbey, and sports analyst, Chris McGowan.
2nd and 6, ball on the Satellites' 23-yard line. Under 8 minutes to go here in the second quarter. Cadle takes the snap. He's running up the right side himself. He's got a lot of room as he is going to score. Big-time touchdown. Jason Cadle. Cavaliers up 22-0 here over the South Central Satellites.
Back for more here for Hour 2 of the Saturday Sports Line, the longest-running high school sports show in Indiana. We are talking our Athlete of the Week from October 16th. Yes, Kolbey Wegner, who was announced on October 15th, that Saturday Sports Line show we had, was on fall break that following week. So I had a chance to catch up with him this past Thursday. He earned the Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week after advancing to regionals. Here's my sit-down interview with Kolbey Wegner.
All right, Kolbey, let's start off from the beginning. This season coming in, you had a goal in mind, and you must be proud with your overall achievements. But let's start at the beginning of the year, talk about some of the teammates, and some of the experiences you learned before we get into sectionals. What did you learn overall this year?
Well, I got to really learn how to be a leader since this is my senior year, and I've always looked up to the upperclassmen and the people that came before me, and I always admired them, and I just wanted to set an example for my teammates and just be a good role model and leader for them.
So tell me a little bit about the season. Now, I'm sure there were highs and lows. Tell me some of the exciting moments throughout the season that you'll never forget.
There's a lot of exciting moments. We had our first race was at the Logansport Invitational, and this team is a very young team, and it was funny and interesting. We had one of our newest members. He slept in the day of the meet, which was not a good thing, but it was just a rookie mistake. But as the season went on, we had a lot of good performances and a lot of fun times. And at Mechanical, I was able to break the 17 mark on a cross-country course, which was which I was very happy about. Did
you know that you had a chance going into that race that would happen?
Yep, I had some strong competition there, and I had broke 17 on a 5K course in the summer, but it was never cross-country, just running on grass. So it was really nice to see that I've improved to even hit that mark on grass. And as the season went on, I continued to be in the 16s and probably my highest achievement was conference. I knew I was going to win, but my main goal was to PR that day, and I was able to get a 15:55, which was an all-time PR.
So were you expecting that? Did you surprise yourself a little bit when that happened?
Yes, I did surprise myself. We had goal paces set for me to hit a mark like that, and as I kept on going, I was kind of falling behind the paces, and I was getting nervous. I was thinking, man, I'll just get low 16s, at least get a PR. It doesn't have to be sub 16. But then when I crossed the finish line and looked at my watch, I was so happy.
So you're actually wearing a device. You're allowed to wear a watch. I didn't know that. So you can kind of keep track while you're in the race to make sure you're on pace?
Yeah, you're allowed to wear watches. And so that's a big help. I did have trouble with my watch throughout the season, though. Like, I've had problems, like, starting it, and some people's, when you're in a group, elbows are flying around.
Really?
I've even had it get paused by someone's elbow, so I never even got to track my pace, but that didn't matter.
You just foot to the floor.
Yeah, the bigger races, that's when it matters, when you're trying to keep a pace and see how hard you're going.
Is there anything that surprised you when it comes to the competition? Some of the other teams out there, some of the other runners, were you surprised about the competition and the level where you needed to be at and you knew how to stay there?
I was surprised this year at the competition. Over track, I improved a lot on my running, and I improved in more into cross country, and me and my coaches were really happy about that, and we were really proud. But what was shocking was actually there's two runners from Pioneer who I was definitely better than in track, and they surprisingly got even better over the summer and were close to me. Not better per se, but they're closer behind me than I was ever used to, and so I got a. The funny thing is, I think almost every single race that we had that was invitational Pioneer was in it, so I always got to see those guys, and it was nice because in the back of my mind, I always thought you can't let them beat you because you've beat them all the time. So that was nice competition, and someone from Mechaniqua who had won sectionals before, I kind of was going back and forth with him over winning, and finally at the end of the season I was beating him.
That's one thing I've noticed about a lot of runners I've talked to is they remember certain people from around the area of different schools, and they keep them in their thoughts about training to make sure that, hey, I need to stay on my game. That's interesting that you remember your competitors. But let's talk about some of the teammates you may have on this Winnemac Warrior team that maybe inspire you. Is there anyone on this team that inspires you or you admire for their effort on this team?
Yeah, one of them is Maggie Smith. She's the number one runner for the girls. She is very talented and very strong runner, and I really hope that she does well next year since she's a junior. A lot of our JV runners were inspirational because, it always sucks to be on JV. Sure. You're not in the limelight. No one's really watching you, and you may be the slowest person on the team, but they still kept on showing up every day and grinding, and that was really inspirational.
You noticed that?
Yeah. And
that's great.
I could tell they weren't really happy throughout the season, and I hope that I could make it a little more happier for them. And
yeah, it's a team effort. So talk about your coach or coaches. Let's hear their names and what they provided to this team.
Well, my coach, Adam Bennett, he's our head coach, and he's just a really great guy and is always there to help us with training and helps the team, helps us to make sure that we are on time and we have a nice routine and we're disciplined. And he always makes sure we always have what we need, and he's just always helpful and is a great coach. Then Mike Haschel is our other coach. He's where we get a lot of our training from, since he was the greatest runner from Winnemac. He has records, and he's made it to state 3 times. Like, he knows some stuff, and he knows a lot of coaches in this space of running, and he's able to help us a lot with training, and he is helpful to us and is really encouraging. And just both those coaches, they work really well with each other and with us, and it just makes a great chemistry with everything.
What are your parents' names?
My parents' names are Chris and Megan Wegner. Just mention all my grandparents, aunts and uncles who all came out and supported me and really helped me to be inspired to keep on moving forward.
So a big-time family gathering to watch you run. I bet that will be a memory you'll never forget.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's always funny after races. The coaches always want us to go into cool down, but then my family's always able to pull me aside, and I have to talk to every single one of them, and it's kind of funny because one end I need to go do my cool down, and the other end my family really wants to talk to me.
What's it mean to be a Winnemac Warrior to you?
It means to work hard and to always try to push yourself and to always be better.
Well, congratulations on getting to compete in semi-state, and good luck in track. Good luck the rest of the year.
Yep, thank you.
Well, I appreciate Kolbey's time, as well as Athletic Director Brian Leverins. Winnemac always does such a fantastic job of giving WKVI all access. We're going to take a break. Don't go anywhere. More to come here on the Saturday Sports Line. You're listening to Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.
The Stark County Co-op has been a member-owned farm services co-op in Stark County since 1928. That's over 90 years, and they're still providing the same quality agronomy services to the farming community of Stark and surrounding counties. The Stark County Co-op is an LP and fuel provider. The Stark County Co-op purchases grain at both locations, Hamlet and Brems. You can reach them by phone at 1-800-782-3392, the Stark County Co-op.
Coke knows there's nothing better than the beat of the summer. The beat begins in a simple and mellow place, from low-key to hyped up. So we're helping you and your friends drink it all in with 100 days of the artist's experiences, tracks, and concerts with the best names in music, all at Coke Studio. Drink, scan, and enjoy your Coke so you never miss out on all the amazing offers we're dropping this summer. Welcome to Marian University's newest location, Ancilla College of Marian University. Marian's newest campus location in Plymouth is your home for an on-campus college experience. From living in the dorms to being a collegiate student-athlete, Marian University is ranked 3rd most innovative Midwest university by U.S. News and World Report. For more information about our 2- or 4-year degrees, go to www.marian.edu/Ancilla. That's www.marian.edu/Ancilla.
Here's more with area high school coaches as we return to the Saturday Sports Line from the Pulaski Memorial Hospital Studios on K99.3.
As we are set for action here back in Culver, 1st and 10. Cadle takes the snap. He throws out to the right side to number 12, who catches it. Touchdown. Big, huge touchdown. Number 12, Ryan Beam, the junior. Cavs score again, 38-0 with 3 minutes to go here in the first half.
And we're back here on the Saturday Sports Line. I am Mitch Kolbey. The tradition continues as Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI will always be here. From the Pulaski Memorial Hospital Studios, it's time for our Athlete of the Week segment for this past week. I had a chance to speak with North Judson-San cross-country runner David Rossa as he qualified out of the Chesterton Regional and competed at semi-state. Here's my sit-down interview with North Judson-San cross-country runner David Rossa.
All right, David, tell me right off the bat what it is about cross-country that you really enjoy.
The aspect of like the team sport and how everybody all comes together and everybody's cheering each other on, and even like opposing teams, like parents and everything, even when you're finished, there's no like bad blood or anything. Everybody kind of congratulates each other, and it's a fun race. You don't really have to worry about anything, other factors besides the weather and how your body feels.
Tell me about the Chesterton Regional. When you found out at the end of your time, when you were finished, that you were going to advance to semi-state. Tell me what that feeling was like for you personally.
Well, I was there, and I had quite a bit of family there to watch me run, which was a really nice feeling. And when I knew coming close to the line that I was going to be close to making it, and I was just very happy. It was something I'd never get to experience again, probably, because track's a lot harder to make it to that far. But it was probably one of the best moments of my life.
Tell me about your family. I'm most certain they were there cheering you on. Let me hear their names, please.
My dad was there, Larry Rossa, my stepmom, Krista Rossa, my sister, Kayla Rossa, my aunt Josie, my uncle Gary, my aunt Darlene, my uncle Tom, and my pretty much family member, Christy Dreswell.
So where was the celebratory lunch after the race?
We went to Shoop's, actually, and got some lunch at Shoop's.
Well, good. I bet they were so happy for you. Tell me about the excitement that must have been for the whole family that day. To have that many family members there, it must have been a special moment, not just for you, but for them as well.
Yeah, when they did the ceremony and announced my name, I couldn't even really hear my thoughts. I just heard screaming behind me when they said the school. So that was really fun. And then the lunch afterward, just talking about meeting up with them again, catching up on everything. It was really nice.
What's it mean to you to be a North Judson-San Pierre Blue Jay?
It means a lot. I mean, it's the only place I've ever lived. It's where I have all my friends at. We wear our blue pretty well.
You speak on your friends. Do you have a lot of good friends on the cross-country team? Is there anyone in particular that you look up to, maybe admire for their energy that they may bring to the team or effort that really speaks volumes?
There's Eli Minix. Really, he comes out and he shows out and puts in the work every day. Same with Raiden's kind of the goofball of the team. He makes all the jokes. And then Ethan, he doesn't talk much to us, but he's there. He's doing his job.
Overall, coming into this season, as you look back now, do you think you exceeded your expectations, or was this your goal going into the year? You knew you could get to semi-state. Was that something you had planned?
I was planning on making it. I didn't know if I was going to be able to. My goal was to get under 18, and I did that about midway through the season, so I didn't know where to go from there. I was going for semi-state was my next goal because didn't have much else to look forward to.
Talk about your coach. What does she provide to the team that you really think that means something when you're out there running?
Well, it starts at practice. She runs with us at practice, so it's not like a thing of, oh, you're going to do this, whatever. She's doing it with us, so she knows how it feels. She knows what you're doing. And then she's got either her or a manager at every mile marker telling you what you need to do, telling you your time, really getting you into the mood of you got to go, you got to slow down a little bit if you're going too fast or whatever. It really helps a lot.
Talk about when you advanced to regionals out of the sectionals. Talk about what sectionals was like for you in competing and advancing to regionals and then doing so well.
Sectionals is always a tough course. It's at Rensselaer, very windy. And I was going into it pretty much knowing as long as I ran what I had been running, I would make regionals. And I got 7th place in a sprint off against like 4 other guys. And that felt really nice to be I think I was the first one to move on to regionals. Felt really nice. My team was all there. I had a little bit of family there cheering me on, and just regionals or sectionals itself. That course is I hate that course. It's my least favorite one. Yeah, you got to do what you got to do to run. So.
And not only that, but you prevailed, moved on to regionals, and then did so well. Well, congratulations, David. I appreciate your time today, and good luck in the future. Do you play any other sports?
Yeah, I swim in the winter, and I run track in the spring.
Are you looking forward to swimming?
A little bit, yeah. We recruited some new people this year to join our team and hopefully trying to get another record there.
Well, we'll keep an eye on the swim team. Hey,
right.
Thanks, David. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
I appreciate every chance I get to go over to North Judson-San Pierre. Great group of student athletes and, of course, the athletic director, Mike Sharkozy. Love his energy and, of course, all the access he grants me. We're going to take a break and come right back. Head coach of the South Central Satellites, Buzz Schoff, is next here on the Saturday Sports Line. You're listening to Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.
The Stark County Co-op has been a member-owned farm services co-op in Stark County since 1928. That's over 90 years, and they're still providing the same quality agronomy services to the farming community of Stark and surrounding counties. The Stark County Co-op is an LP and fuel provider. The Stark County Co-op purchases grain at both locations, Hamlet and Brems. You can reach them by phone at 1-800-782-3392.
This presentation of our area's local high school sports is sponsored by Pulaski Memorial Hospital in Winnemac. Pulaski Memorial Hospital is dedicated to providing excellent health care to improve the health and quality of life for the people and the community they serve. They will meet the community's needs and exceed their expectations by creating the best possible health care experience. For more information of the services they provide, call 946-2100.
Welcome to Marian University's newest location, Ancilla College of Marian University. Marian's newest campus location in Plymouth is your home for an on-campus college experience. From living in the dorms to being a collegiate student-athlete, Marian University is ranked 3rd most innovative Midwest university by U.S. News & World Report. For more information about our 2- or 4-year degrees, go to www.marian.edu/Ancilla. That's www.marian.edu/Ancilla.
Let's continue the conversation with area high school coaches and more on the Saturday Sports Line.
And it'll be 2nd and 28 with 28.5 seconds to go in the ball game. Takes the snap. Clock running. Throws over the middle. It's deep and it's caught by number 85. That's Carter Holmquist, who crosses the 50-yard line, and he's tackled at about the 40-yard line in Cavalier territory. The biggest play of the game for the Satellites.
Welcome back to the Saturday Sports Line here on Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI. Mitch Columby along with sports analyst Chris McGowan. That was a heck of a play from the South Central Satellites last night, but unfortunately a loss for them against the Culver Cavaliers as that brings their 2022 campaign to an end. But we're so glad to have head coach Buzz Schoff with us to talk about last night's game. Been coming every week this year, Coach. We appreciate it. But I'll turn things over to Coach McGowan here and let him get the first question in.
All right, Coach. It obviously didn't go the way you wanted it to. Thank you, Mr. Obvious, right? Long-time listener, first-time caller. But, again, what did Culver do last night differently that you may have not have been prepared for?
It really came down to we didn't match their physicality up front. We had a game plan going in, and it all hindered on our guys up front being able to get a nice push, and we weren't able to do that at all. And then our pass protection last night just kind of fell apart. They brought their outside backer up on the side away from our back, which we are vulnerable there. I agree with you, but our tackle is coached that he's got to pick up that the guards, and everybody just has to shift a guy.
Everybody's got to slide,
and we coach that daily, that you have to see that and you have to communicate that to everybody else because it affects everybody else. And we just didn't do that. We would block it as if we're just man blocking. So here comes a guy straight off the edge, untouched, right in Zach's face right away, which makes Zach scramble a little bit. And then when you're not getting that push up front, you're not sustaining that front. When Zach goes to step up in the pocket, he just now has to take off and run. Well, the play has not developed yet. So they had a pretty good game plan going into it as far as how to blitz us. Especially when we went 4 wide, trips to one side or 2 by 2. They had a pretty good game plan, but we had a plan for that because that's really the only thing you can do.
Right.
It doesn't really take a rocket scientist to know that when we take our fullback out of the equation, we're not running power. Mm-hmm. You can't run power without a fullback.
Right.
So, they had a pretty good game plan going into it, and then we didn't do ours. It just comes down to they executed their game plan. We didn't execute ours.
Exactly. And last night, you get to the first half, and Hogan's back. and you could see his shiftiness on the first couple of carries, but then he goes down. What's the status with Hogan right now? Because he never came back.
Share with us.
He share with us. He never came back.
He went down, and Aaron's a tough kid, and if Aaron could have got up, Aaron would have got up. So when you see Aaron on the ground, you know something's wrong.
Right.
He's been battling some injuries all season long. Goes out with a knee week 2 against Culver, and then last night ends up. I think the final analysis was a concussion. But he's in good spirits, talking to him at halftime, talking to him at the game. It's not one of those that, he doesn't know where he's at. He doesn't know, he's just not going to pass those really deep thinking questions that a concussion test is going to ask you. He's probably not feeling very good today, just because after the adrenaline wears off, that's when a concussion affects you the most. But he'll be fine. He's one of those kids that's going to battle through it and come, baseball season or whatever he plays now. I think he tries out for the basketball team. I don't know if he's a basketball player or not, but I think he's going to try out for the basketball team, which, maybe this hinders into going into that season. But, he's the type of kid that, you're going to have to tell him, no, you can't do that.
Right.
Until we get a doctor's note, rather than, hey, are you ready to go yet? So he's in good spirits, and he'll bounce back from it.
And it seemed like, he's the type of kid that, okay, his teammates are like, hey, we've got Hogan, we're good. And then when he went down, you could see just the body language of everybody else. All of his teammates were kind of like, oh no, now what do we do? Even though you've played 7 games without him, you could just see that the confidence level that they had in what you guys were trying to do. You could see it just kind of like come out of them a little bit when he went down.
Yeah, it's one of those things where as an offensive lineman, when you got a good back behind you, if you miss your block, you know that he's still going to make you look good.
Right.
He's going to make the first guy miss. And if that's your guy, you still can come back to the huddle and go, all right, I missed my block, but
thank you.
All right, it's 2nd and 8. We're going to be fine. I make it this time, and we're going to roll. When you don't have that behind you, now your job becomes harder. And it was just kind of the mentality of our kids, like, and not to take anything away from Clayton. Clayton's just not a tailback. Right. He doesn't run the ball with that shiftiness, with that vision. He will hit the hole, but he doesn't understand where, like how to hit that hole. So our kids just understand, like, well, Clayton's not going to make the first guy miss, so I have to block my guy like a little longer, a little harder. Our down block has to flood that guy down just a little bit further now. So everybody's job just gets a little bit harder, and everybody knows that. And whether or not you think it affects your play, it affects your play. Because now you're thinking a little harder, you're trying a little harder, and it's just not the same. So when a kid like that, when a kid like Aaron Hogan goes down, you feel it almost immediately.
Well, and then it hurt later on to see Hanshar go down and 2 of your top players go down. I mean, that had to hurt.
Yeah, I mean, so Aaron goes down in the second quarter with a concussion. At halftime, Clayton Stroud gets diagnosed with a separated shoulder. I don't even know when that happens. So, here's a kid who we're handing the ball off as a running back. He's playing safety for us. He's got a separated shoulder. Now, if that doesn't speak for toughness, I don't know what you're looking for.
Right.
He gets diagnosed with a separated shoulder. And then Zach comes down on the we were in agreement that he fell on the football and maybe has a bruised or cracked rib. And Danielle comes to us almost immediately after he had come off to the sideline. She goes, he has bruising already. I'm like, okay, well, that's not good. So we look at our team, and it's the second half. We're already down 55-0 or whatever. But you look at your team, and your quarterback's out, your running back's out,
Your backup running back.
The backup running back, who's also the backup quarterback, is out. I look down the sideline. Is there anybody on our team that's ever taken a snap before? Because
and we were talking about that last night. We were like, who's he going to plug?
Because there's my three guys
out
that would be the quarterback.
Right.
Like, I didn't come into the game. Sorry, if I'm wrong, if there's somebody out there, if there's somebody out there who thinks I'm wrong, you don't go into a 1A football game with four quarterbacks. Like you can't.
Right.
So, but
you may now though.
Yeah, I guess. But if Zach goes down, Clayton's our quarterback. If Clayton goes down, okay, Aaron, you're the quarterback.
Right.
But when you look down and you got three of your probably your top three players at the time, when they're out, okay, who? So I just look at the senior on our team. I'm like, you want to play quarterback? Absolutely. Okay, we're gonna make it very easy. Catch the snap, run forward. All right, run forward. All right, and talk to the offensive lineman. Like, hey, give him some time. Like, hey, this is his time, right? Like, who doesn't want to be the quarterback their last football game of their senior year? Who doesn't want to play quarterback? Right. So, he does it, but he's just, and he did what he could do, but he's just not a kid who's just gonna, run around the field. He doesn't have that. He doesn't have that mentality. He's gonna get tired, and he's gonna let that tiresome, kind of hinder him. But and then we bring TC in, and he's been itching to play quarterback for 20 years, it seems like. Because every day I got to hear about how he never gets a chance to play quarterback. Well, all right, here's your shot. And he goes, what am I doing? I'm like, you're gonna heave the ball. You just throw it. So, you got an outside linebacker playing quarterback just because he wanted to. And you just got 10 other guys out there at this point. Our offensive line was still all in, but our wide receiver core was down too. So to get that big play at the end of the game there, obviously we still didn't score, but that's irrelevant. Get that big play. And it really brought to life the message at halftime. I told our kids, like, this is when it becomes fun. When you got nothing to lose, just go out and have fun. It doesn't matter anymore. All right, just go make some memorable moments here, and I think that's what we were able to do at the end of the game. And it kind of showed as we came together at the end of the game. Everybody's having fun, everybody's laughing, everybody's joking around, which is not something you usually get when you end your season. Usually, it's very it's very emotional. It's a very quiet kind of time. And last night, our kids are having fun because we were able to, and that's not how I want to end a game. Like,
right.
But, I think that we made the best of it, and it is what it is, and we'll see them all, come up next year.
Well, I got to hit the road here. I got to take my girls basketball team up to South Bend for a scrimmage this morning. So
should be fun.
Yeah, thank you.
Good luck, Coach.
But I'm going to turn it over to Mitch here in a second. But before I get out of here, I do want to say I've been in that position. I've been in the seat that you're in a lot of times, and I don't think people truly understand how hard it is week in and week out, especially you've got a young team struggling wins and loss wise, but to come in every single Saturday and to have the attitude that you have speaks volume of your character, and I appreciate that, and I wish you nothing but the best next year, and we'll be in touch, and go ahead and why don't you show up at Tri-Township a few games, and we'll take care of you.
I don't think I could do that. I think I get booed out of the gym. But maybe
that's why I said that.
Maybe I could go incognito. And they won't know who I am.
Well, I tell you what, though, you do a couple Tri-Township games on the radio. You still looking for a color guy for basketball?
I am.
There you go. Get the football guy right there.
I am.
All right. Nice talking to you, Buzz.
Thanks, Chris. I appreciate it.
All right, Chris. Hey, thanks a lot. Good luck today in your scrimmage, and we'll keep an eye on Tri-Township as basketball's right around the corner, we all know. But back to last night's game, let's talk about your seniors. You talked to us a little bit off the air that there were three guys that in particular were seniors on your team. They provided a lot of energy and effort for the Satellites this year and their whole career there for that matter. But tell us on the air, if you can, what you told your kids there on the field last night in regards to those three seniors?
Yeah, so like I just mentioned, at the end of that game, we're having fun and a lot of unorthodox things are happening just because we had no option at the time. But at the end, as they come together with our team, they're laughing, they're joking, and they're just kind of putting that the memories of the end of that game in their heads, and I just told them, I said, I get it, it's different, it's fun, we were having fun, and I want you to laugh and I want you to enjoy it, but you got to remember there's 3 guys that are sitting right here with you that will never put a football helmet on again. And at this moment, those are the 3 guys that you have to remember. It's easy to laugh and have fun when you get beat 61-0 and you got a 4th string quarterback in. It's easy to laugh and have fun when something like that happens. But when you look at the 3 guys who will never play again, you have to understand that it's not fun. It's not funny for them. They're not enjoying this moment. So I said once you get on the bus, they'll laugh with you, they'll joke with you, but from the field to the locker room, and probably in the locker room, it's going to be a little different. And I said, get a break, make sure you hug these 3 guys, and let's go home. And our kids, that's when it hit them like, you're right. I'll never play with them again. You'll see them in school, and that's fine. You're going to be their friend for their whole life because, when you play this game long enough, those become lifelong friends. And just because you embrace something that, most kids aren't willing to embrace. So, and that's when it kind of hit them, and that's when the tears started falling. And those 3 guys, they gave everything that they could give. Hayden Trucco, he played a little tight end for us. He was a defensive end for the past 3 years. Really the guy that we always could count on, like that's going to be his position. Going into every season, it's like he's going to play there. He's also our punter. And for a 1A school to have a punter the way he punts, last night he's still kicking the ball really, really far. It was just to the kid, which we tell him not to do. But, with the pressure that he was getting last night, I mean, it was really just get the ball off for the most part. But, a kid, a 1A punter who averages, 42 yards a punt, I mean, that helps you, in ways that most people just don't understand how much that helps you. And then Tyler Arcenega, he was an offensive linebacker that we moved down to defensive line this year. Just a kid that you wanted to find him a spot. Where is he going to shine? I know you can play this game, and I know you can figure it out, but it's my job to figure out like where.
Yeah.
And he gave us everything he's got. He actually moved in from Westville his sophomore year to play football. So,
wow.
He's one of those kids that was willing to change schools and maybe it's hard to move schools your sophomore year of high school.
Yeah.
Obviously, don't turn us in for recruiting violations or anything. He also had some academic things that he wanted to do, but he knew that South Central had a football team, and he from day one he was like, I'm going to play football here. I'm like, okay, let's go. And so he was willing to move schools for the opportunity to play football, and I appreciate that. And then the third senior player we got is Adam Kalina. He's a Czech Republic foreign exchange student.
Okay.
Who just last year we had one who was our kicker. Who he talked to him like in the summertime because they have the same host family, and the kicker from last year, Tim Wanderer, he kind of talked him into it. He goes, man, it's so much fun. You're going to love it. The coaches are cool, and it's going to just help you like make friends quicker.
Yeah.
And he comes out and and gives us everything he got. He doesn't understand the game for the most part, but is willing to do anything you ask. And he was one of those kids who's always asking questions. And you never want to turn away a kid who's always asking questions. And then the 2 unmentioned seniors that we got are our 2 managers in the Schmack girls, Riley and Ella, and they're just fantastic. They play volleyball, so we don't see them a whole lot during the week. But then on Fridays they're there, and they're always those ones that when you forget why you're doing it, you can always look to them, and they'll always have some smart comment to tell back to you. On long bus rides home after a loss like last night, they'll always tell you something. Then you'll realize, football is all not that big of a deal, but we are impacting kids' lives in ways that we don't even understand. They've been our managers for 4 years, and we always tell them that they're the worst managers that could ever possibly happen, and that's just because that's what they. That's what they need. They need to be joked with, and they need to be kind of hit hard. But last year the Culver game, it was pouring down rain all week long, and I told them, I said, where's our towels? And they go, we don't know. I go, you're the managers. You have one job, to know where the towels are, and they're looking through the locker room. They're looking through the coach's office, and they're moving the trash can around and moving all this stuff around. And they go, hey, I found one, and this towel was soaking wet, like to the point where it was dripping water. And I'm like, what are we going to do with that?
Yeah.
So we always give them a hard time about the managers that can't find the towels, and they even said last night as we were walking off, and they were like, we didn't lose any towels this year. I go, that's because you lost them all last year. We don't have any towels. We don't have any towels to lose. So that group of five, I mean, just a different personality between all five of them. So we're gonna miss them, but but we have to move forward from it, and I appreciate everything all five of them have done.
Well, Coach, I said this to Josh Burgess last weekend. This is tough. We've had a great 11 weeks here, and talking with you every week. I appreciate you coming in. I hate that it has to come to an end. But we look forward to seeing what the football team at South Central provides in the future, and I'm sure you're going to have your boys ready to go next fall.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate all the coverage and all the fun times that we've had. You always say how hard it is to come in here every Saturday. It's the highlight of my Saturday. But I just wish that we could sit here and talk about how good we did. The night before, but our time's coming, and sometimes you got to humble yourself first before you see the achievement. So hopefully next year we'll still be sitting down every Saturday, and we'll still be talking football and other nonsense that happens, because it's just fun to just talk to other human beings about anything. So I appreciate everything you've done, and we'll see you next year.
Hey, thank you, Coach. That's head coach of the South Central Satellites, Buzz Schoff, here on the Saturday Sports Line, the longest running high school sports show in Indiana. We have the Where Are They Now segment up next. That's with Harold Welter. You know him well. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.
This presentation of our area's local high school sports is sponsored by Pulaski Memorial Hospital in Winnemac. Pulaski Memorial Hospital is dedicated to providing excellent health care to improve the health and quality of life for the people and the community they serve. They will meet the community's needs and exceed their expectations by creating the best possible health care experience. For more information of the services they provide, call 946-2100.
It's time now for Where Are They Now? A look back at more than a half century of WKVI radio covering local high school sports. Today's program is brought to you by Osborne's Mini Marts in Knox and Culver. Now let's meet one of the local high school sports figures from more than 50 years of WKVI sports and find out where are they now?
Well, as we look back on more than 50 years of broadcasting high school sports in the Kankakee Valley here on WKVI, our guest is Keith Reinholdt, a 1978 graduate of Knox High School, where he played multiple sports, and we call this segment Where Are They Now? So, Keith, where are you now, and what are you doing?
Harold, I'm over in Warsaw, which isn't that far from Knox, and we have been here now since 1982, and we got a furniture store back in 82, and I started with my dad then, and I started as the youngest person in the store, and now I'm the oldest person in the store. So there's been some transition going on, but it's all good, Harold. But we like Warsaw a lot, and still a lot of people know, others just like it was in Knox. It's a little bit bigger, but we like it over here a lot.
Well, you were a multi-sport athlete at Knox. You played basketball, football, baseball, and going back in all those games all those years ago, Keith, which is the one that, after all these years, stands out in your mind more than any other?
I pretty much know that right away, okay? All right. My sophomore year, we played North Judson the last game of the season. And, of course, the rival is still there, but it was really big back in the 70s also, okay? And my freshman year, I remember going to the Knox-Judson game. I wasn't dressed on varsity or anything, but I just remember watching that game, and I was just kind of like in awe, like how big these guys were, Judson's guys. And Judson beat us over in North Judson that particular game. And that would have been like Doug Small's junior year, okay? The next year, Doug gets hurt about the middle of the season, so the next year, I'm the quarterback for Knox. So I remember the last game of the season, and I'm going to give you a particular play that really stands out in my mind, okay? The second quarter of that game, I was going to throw a middle screen to Brian Lawrence. And I back up, I jump up in the air to get it over their lineman, see Brian right there, and when I throw it, one of their defensive tackles named Rick Saplanda, I think was his name, Rick Saplanda.
Yes.
He cuts in front of Brian, intercepts the pass. I get tackled, and I get up. Of course, my adrenaline's going like crazy. I get up, I chase Rick Saplanda down and tackle him, and he doesn't score a touchdown. Probably on around the 10-yard line. And so I go in, and that's the last play of the first half. I think we were losing that game at that time. We were behind. I go in the locker room, and I tell you what, I'm shaking. It really upset me, this whole thing happening. So I go out for the second half, and this was an unbelievable play. They kick off to us on our side, or on our team, Wilbur Collins. They kick it to Wilbur. Wilbur runs the ball back for a touchdown. And my confidence all of a sudden went from 0 to a 10. And the rest of the game, we ended up winning the game. It was a really, really good game. And I don't know necessarily that we were expected to win the game, but we did. And that was one of the biggest wins of my career, my sophomore year. But there was a big one my junior year and a big one my senior year, but I won't go into that. But I will never forget that play and Rick picking that off. And luckily, Rick was he was a pretty wide body. He wasn't real tall, so that helped me, I think, to track him down. But I remember bringing him down. It wasn't easy. So he wanted that touchdown.
Knox had some pretty darn good football teams back in those days, and it got to be thin for quite a while, and in recent years it's turned back around. And you were fortunate because you played with some really good athletes in your high school career. Who were some of those guys? Very fortunate to play with some of these guys. My junior year, we had like at linebacker, there was, and I know there'll be some I forget, okay, but Jack McCann, John Smith was a lineman, Bill Sanders was a tight end, Marc Small was one of the wideouts, Gino Novello, was like the flanker, Phil Owens was the tailback, and of course Phil was outstanding, okay, and then Larry Mullins was fullback his sophomore year and did a really good job, but got hurt quite a bit, couple times his junior year. So Dave Ritchie had to be our fullback, and then of course there was John Salyers, Tom Marsh, Rusty Port, my cousin Larry Chisholm, Steve Brook. We had about 28 guys. Mike Klozeski was really, really good. I probably didn't pronounce that right, but he was a really good offensive and defensive tackle. Goodness, I don't want to leave anybody out because these guys mean so much to me. Anyway, it was
was a good group of guys. And our junior year, that's when they had 3 classes. We were Class A. And our junior year, we were 8-0. All we had to do was win out the rest of the season, and we were in the playoffs. And we went up to Rensselaer, and we played really poorly up at Rensselaer, our 9th game of the season, and we lost. And I didn't have a great game. A lot of our guys didn't play. Our defense played really well, though, because it was a 7-6 game. But we lost that game. Then we came back against North Judson the next week and beat them pretty bad that year, or the junior year. But what a great group of guys. I have so many good memories of these guys and all the great time that we had. Coach Reisner, this was his first year as our varsity coach.
Right.
And man, he worked our tails off. And so we worked hard, and he expected a lot. But he was a good coach. We had a good staff, and we had a great season that season.
Growing up, Keith, in Knox, who were some of the people who were like your role models, or who helped you be successful in athletics?
There were so many people. I go back to playing Little League baseball, as a young guy, starting at 7 or 8 or whatever you start. I did that all my years, and so although my dad coached me most of the time that year, but in senior league, Bill Byers, and Bill worked at Napa. Do you remember who I mean?
Oh, yes.
Okay, yeah, he was a good guy. I liked him a lot. And then I liked my coaches. I'm going to say a lot of my coaches, too, okay?
Yeah.
And then I'll talk a couple of my best friends, my really good friends. I'll talk about their dad. Coach Wilson, our sophomore year, Coach Samuel. Then my junior year, Coach Reisner came, and we're still friends to this day. Coach Wilson lives in Warsaw, so that's unbelievable. That I've got 2 of my coaches that you get to see a lot. Coach Slusher was baseball. And then, oh goodness, we had another coach. But anyway, we had a lot of good coaches that I really like. But I spent a lot of time as a kid with Donnie Carlson, and then his mom and dad, Ernie and Lois, were almost like another set of parents to me. And I spent a lot of time with Larry Mullins, and Glenna and Lester were like parents to me. I mean, they disciplined me. They, Larry's sister Vicky would keep me in line. I mean, it was pretty fun looking back. And then John Salyers, John's mom and dad. I know I'm going to be forgetting some names, but there's so many people that mean so much to me in Knox, and I will never forget my years. They were great years, and when I do get back there, it's like I just get kind of excited to be back to see what it's like to see the football field again, go down to the baseball field at the park. Harold, you were still a legend, but you were. You were like a Redskin supporter. Well, I guess you had to be neutral, but you weren't. Well, you did a great job. But, just a lot of people, Harold.
We're talking with Keith Reinholdt, a 1978 graduate of Knox High School, here on our Where Are They Now segment, and we'll continue our conversation after this timeout.
Stay tuned for more sports talk with Mitch Kolbey on Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.
Our guest is Keith Reinholdt, a 1978 graduate of Knox High School. Let me ask you this, Keith. What did you gain from being a high school athlete that has helped you be successful in life?
I think the discipline was a really big thing. Being disciplined, and the coaches, basically doing what you were told. But then the other big thing I think is really important is just the teamwork aspect. I had one of my boys that developed a back problem in 8th grade, and he never got to play sports again, and he was very, very disappointed. And the thing that I was the most disappointed about is there's something about being on a team and being around the guys and the camaraderie that goes along with having teammates that Trevor never was able to experience. And I really feel like that is a really big thing. Learning how to be a good teammate, learning how to support your teammate, learning how to be be a friend to these guys and putting others in front of yourself. And I think I really learned a lot of that with athletics. And we had good competition too. So I mean, I was very competitive, like so many of my teammates, and we wanted to win. No doubt, we wanted to win, and we gave it 110%. But I think even that competitive part, I think I've taken that with me in my life, because I'm still that way. But then also high school athletics also got me to college, because I played college football at Taylor University. I was a starter my sophomore year at Taylor, and that was good. I was able to bring some things over with me from high school right into the college scene. And Taylor's a small college, so right. But I had great years at Taylor too.
You talked earlier about how, as a young boy, you really got affected by that competition and a Knox and North Judson rivalry and all of that stuff. What advice would you have for young athletes today who would like to have some success like you did as an athlete?
One of the things that would come to my mind at first is just the practice part. As kids back in that day, I mean, we played ball most of the summer, and the thing different now though compared to how it was when I was a player. When football season was over, it was pretty much over back then. You started weightlifting in the summer, but the sports now, they don't have as many rules and regulations as to the time factor that you can be. So we did a lot on our own at that time. But I would say just the practice part was a really, really important thing for us. And learning the discipline, being around others, you just learn to be a good teammate. And I think you can carry over a lot of what you do with sports into other areas of your life. I'd just like to thank you. It's an honor for you to ask me to do this, hearing your voice. And I know you're not as young as you used to be, but that voice, it just brings back so many memories.
Our guest on Where Are They Now has been Keith Reinholdt, a 1978 graduate of Knox High School. Join us again next week on the Saturday Sports Line for Where Are They Now?
Join us each Saturday morning on WKVI for the Saturday Sports Line and worldwide on WKVI.com.
It's time now for our Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week, given in memory of Tyler Roth, a 2001 graduate of Winnemac High School who died in an auto accident 1 week after his high school graduation. Today's award is brought to you by Web Printing and JT Shirt Shack in Winnemac, and we'll tell you who's earned the Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week after this word from Web Printing.
Web Printing and JT Shirt Shack and signs of all kinds in Winnemac is where all of your printing needs can be met. Whether it's paper, garments, or signs, Web Printing is your full-service printing solution. So if you're in need of embroidered or screen-printed garments, tickets or programs for your event, or documents for your business, Web Printing and JT Shirt Shack is the place to go. For the quickest service, best prices, and best quality, it's Web Printing and JT Shirt Shack in Winnemac.
Our Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week for this week is Shane Shuman, a member of the football team at Culver Community. Shane has had an amazing season thus far for the Cavs. He broke the all-time rushing record in the school's history this season. He also eclipsed 1,000 yards rushing this season, over 4,000 yards total throughout his career there at Culver. He led his team now into the sectional championship game against North Judson-San Pierre next Friday after helping the Cavs shut out South Central last night 61-0. Shane is the son of Tim Shuman and stepmom Karen Shuman, and is also a member of the basketball team at Culver. Congratulations to Shane Shuman of the Culver Cavaliers, our Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week. I'll work on getting that interview this week as another Saturday Sports Line is done and over. We are so glad you joined us here on Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI. Until next Friday, we'll let you know throughout the week what game we will be, in fact, broadcasting. You take care. I'm Mitch Kolbey. Until next week, have a good one. The tradition continues.
From the Pulaski Memorial Hospital studios of Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI, you've been listening to the Saturday Sports Line with Sports Director Mitch Kolbey and Sports Analyst Chris McGowan.